Now this is it. Welcome into possibly the most impactful episode so far. Because at this point, the pilgrimage stops being about hope. And now is the time to choose. Up until now, the road was laid out for us. But standing here, that's no longer an option. Two options remain. Die and be free of pain. And escape. A clean ending. A way out of Spira's cycle of death. Or live and fight your sorrow. That choice doesn't come with certainty. It comes with the consequences. But now is the time to shape your stories. To decide whether this ends like it always has. Or whether it finally changes. Yunalesca is ahead of us. And once we step forward, your fate is in your hands. In this battle, UG needs me. Me protect UG. And about the choice I'm making? Well, I'm fighting. This whole challenge, from Botch all the way to Xanarkand, I can't believe we're gonna fight Lady Yunalesca. Give me a break. Even though you can always run. That's not an option I can go by. Ha! I've come so far in this challenge that I'd never forgive myself. No way, not if I ran away now. Even in death, yeah? Those are my thoughts exactly, as I pin them down with words. Now viewers, this is our story. Now let's see this thing through together. Now Lady Yunalesca sits right up there with Seymour and Anima and Evray when it comes down to sheer difficulty. And the best way to start breaking down her is to zoom out and look at the bigger picture first. As I was fighting her, I kept notes, line after line, attempt after attempt. Those notes slowly turned into a map. Yunalesca's tool, her behavior, and yes, even some patterns she follows. And I'm going to walk you through them. Let's bring in the notes. Yunalesca has three forms. The first form has 24,000 HP. The second jumps to 48,000. And the third comes in at hefty 60,000. Add that all together and you're staring down 132,000 total HP. No matter how you approach it, this is a long boss battle. Lost your nerve? That's alright. Let's start by digging into Phase 1. In Phase 1, Yunalesca follows a very simple loop. First, a normal attack, and this one strips buffs. Haste, protect, anything you had going. God. Her second move is Absorb. Absorb drains 50% of your maximum HP, not current, maximum. And that distinction matters because Stamina Doublet strategy actually increases how much damage this does. After Absorb, the loop resets back to the normal attack. Simple enough, except she counters everything. My main damage route here is Fire Gems, and she counters that with Sleep. I have Sleep Ward for it. Unfortunately, I don't own Sleep Proof. Magical damage gets countered with Silence, fully covered by my gear. Physical attacks get countered with Blind aka Darkness, also warded against it. So on paper, covered. But Sleep, that's the real problem. Here's why Sleep is dangerous. If I'm asleep, Absorb does not wake me up. So she hits me for half of my max HP and I stay down. And because she follows a pattern, the next move is the normal attack, which does wake me up. But Yunalesca is fast, and if CTP lines up poorly, she can sometimes sneak in another Absorb after that. That's a massive damage chain, and I need a way to break it. And the answer is our beloved Auto Potion armor, the Shaman Targe. Auto Potion triggers even when you're on white HP numbers. After Absorb, I'm placed exactly at 50% HP. And Auto Potion still kicks in. No SOS range required, unlike the SOS null elements which needs yellow HP to activate. That's why Shaman Targe outweighs the benefits of Sleep Ward here. Now one very important note from experience, do not permanently reflect yourself. If you do, Yunalesca will eventually target you with the regen. And under reflect, that bounces back to her. And regen on Yunalesca is a serious problem in Phase 3. It ticks for nearly 3,000 HP. Even if it wears off eventually, waiting that out in Phase 3 is not something you want to do. And she can freely reapply it in Phases 2 and 3. Now why is Reflect even good? Well, it would bounce the sleep counter Yunalesca does. But instead, in phase 1, you can use a SOS Reflect to deal with the sleep counters. Now, I never picked up the SOS Reflect gear, but you can get it as a drop from a fiend at this point in the game. So for me, phase 1 is all about auto potion plus stamina tablet. That removes luck from the equation. Regen can help with healing, it's not required, but it adds some leniency. With this setup, I cannot die, even to Yunalesca's worst case combo, which looks like this. Sleep counter after a gem. Absorb, which doesn't wake me. Into normal attack, and all of her normal attacks in every phase gang crit, by the way. But I will survive that hit, and once I wake up, summon charge triggers. Heals me, which is clutch, because depending on CTP, she might get another absorb right after, and I will always survive that too. With stamina tablet active, absorb does 1030 damage. Without it, only 515. Normal attacks usually hit around 250, but can crit for 500. As long as those numbers don't KO me, I literally cannot lose phase 1. There is a way to do this without stamina tablets, but it's worse. Yeah, absorb now does less, which is 515, but the possible crit afterward can exceed my max HP of 1030. And without stamina tablets, phase 1 takes significantly longer. You'd have to time fire gem throws so that sleep lines up right before a normal attack. And honestly, I don't even want to think about phases 2 and 3 without the extra HP. Unfortunately, sleep proof armor isn't available to me under the no customization restriction. Final note for the phase 1 ended with the automat armor equipped. We need zombie removed until the very end of phase 2. Even if you finish phase 1 cleanly, Yunalesca can open phase 2 with Hellbiter into Kira. And under zombie, that's an instant GG. And also for the sheer time save, I didn't even bother with the magical damage or physical damage rules in the phase 1. With that covered, we move into phase 2. And honestly, phase 2 is easiest part of this whole fight. She uses Hellbiter, and the other move possible here is either Regen or Kira. Hellbiter does low damage, but inflicts zombie. But with the curative charge, zombie gets cleansed immediately, every time. And Yunalesca loves spamming Hellbiter here. She's coded to check how many zombies exist on the opposing side, and since I always cleanse it, she keeps trying. So the probability of her using Hellbiter is way higher than using the healing ones. Now, the haste maintenance. There's a 50% chance she counters here, using the buff stripping normal attack from phase 1. But the annoying sleep, silence and blind counters, they are goners. That alone makes this phase far more manageable. So with the strat in place, this phase is super simple. With the curative charge on, which holds the automate ability, there's no way Lady Yunalesca does big damage here. I might have to throw in healer too during this phase, but that's nothing to worry about. My final note for the phase 2 is leave this phase with zombie on. I mean, we already know that, but still. You can also set up haste and even protect before phase 3. Now, they won't last long, but every little bit helps. For brave players, you can even apply regen going into the phase 3. Just know, it can backfire. And now, the iconic phase. Phase 3. Thankfully, Yunalesca follows a mostly strict pattern here, with the small mix in. Her first move is always the same, Mega Death. This move alone is responsible for a lot of Final Fantasy X copies being returned to the store. After Mega Death, she chooses one of these 3 actions, Hellbiter, Kiraga, or Regen. She does this again for her 3rd move. The 4th move is always Mind Blast, causing damage and confusion. And the 5th move is, once again, one of these 3. Then she loops, back to Mega Death, and the cycle continues until... well, we end it. To survive this, I have to juggle gear constantly. Automate to remove zombie, confuse the ward to survive Mind Blast. Healing zombie away after Mega Death is critical, because Kiraga can instantly end the run. Also in 3rd form, Shining Gems come out. Yunalesca can also double turn in every phase if you are not hasted. And haste is hard to maintain because of the buff stripping counterattacks. And the speed war matters the most in phase 3. And ignoring haste here is a mistake. The faster I am, the better survivability I also have. Whether that's swapping gear, getting heals in, damaging her, or even reapplying zombie status by myself if I have to. For example, if her last Hellbiter before Mega Death doesn't land a zombie status on us, or if she uses Kuraka or Regen instead, I can manually re-zombie myself with the zombie touch weapon. That can save me from a guaranteed game over from a Mega Death. Even if I miss, I tried. So the plan is, cleanse zombie early in the loop, prepare Confusion Ward for Mind Blast, let Hellbiter zombie me near the end of the loop, look for safe windows to deal damage, heal only when zombie is not active. I mean, that's self-explanatory, but what I mean is looking to heal yourself when it looks like you're going to be zombied for the next couple of turns. Since obviously the traditional way of healing is not available to us under zombie, well, there is a way to heal yourself even under zombie status, but for now, we're not gonna go into it. And remember, regen here can either be an angel or a devil, since it's either healing us or ticking us. Oh, and once I actually saw Yunalesca's regen miss. I didn't even know that was possible. So third phase, watch for the patterns. Know when to push and when to pull. Get haste up even if it only lasts a few turns. And accept this truth. If Yunalesca plays perfectly, sometimes there's nothing you can do. That's just a reset. Now with these rules in my mind and a stack of notes in my hand, and a bit of luck, let's see if there's an attempt where everything finally lines up.
It is better for you to die in hope than to live in despair. Let me be your liberator.
Well, I'm fighting.
Alright, starting off, I immediately get on the stamina tablet. That's gonna take my max HP to 2060. That extra HP isn't just comfort, it's going to play a massive role helping this battle become more stable instead of volatile. Now Yunalesca comes in with the first slap in the battle, and the Shaman Targe recognizes this and kicks in the first potion for UG. Then I search for the fire gems in my backpack and throw it out. Now, shining gems are something that I will start using later on the battle. I want to save them since there's no way to obtain more at this point in the game, but that'll change soon. That being said, the first sleep counter occurs. Should be noted that the sleep ward is not enough to get fully rid of sleep infliction here. Even with the sleep ward on, Yunalesca might land a sleep through it. Now we saw the first attack pattern from Yunalesca, and it's actually not that far that she could have dropped us with a crit, so I throw in the regen just to give us a little help. You'll also notice regen ticking constantly, and this is important. Regen is one of those few buffs here that Yunalesca's counterattack does not dispel. Haste, protect, those get stripped instantly. Regen stays. So even during these slow stretches, HP is always climbing back up in the background. Now, with the setup in place, I really cannot lose here. Like we covered in the intro, this first phase is fully controllable. Stamina tablet, regen, buffs working together, armor as well, making sure we live all the combos Yunalesca might do here. Now as we approach the end of this phase, my focus shifts, making sure I'm ready for second phase. Now you'll see me even bring haste online right before ending the first phase, not because it'll last long, but even couple hasted turns helps me push damage in quicker. And like we covered already, second phase with the right setup is the easiest form here. But I have to make sure going into it I swap to Curative Targe, locking in auto med ability. That swap is important. Phase 2 is all about zombie management. Biggest threat in the second phase is Cura under zombie status. And I want auto med active before Yunalesca gets the chance to even think about that combo. So with the fire gems finishing the job, regen still on, HP is stable, and gear already prepped, first phase ends exactly where I want it. Now the second phase begins, and right on cue, Hellbiter. Zombie goes on immediately, and Ultimate does its job. Zombie is gone before it even matters. Ball back on me, and now it's time to start making my way through the 48,000 HP. There's a 50% chance of counterattack here, and of course, it triggers instantly. After that, Yunalesca wastes a turn on Kira, and that's when I throw back on the haste. Then she cues another Kira, and this is actually pretty rare. Like I mentioned earlier, Yunalesca is coded to check for zombie status. The fewer zombies on your side, the more likely she is to try reapplying it with the Hellbiter. And it makes sense. What are these Kiras and regions even doing if no one's zombied? Eventually, Yunalesca settles into what it usually wants to do. If no one's zombied, and that is the Hellbiter spam. And that's fine, no panic here. Automet stays on, fire gems keep flying, and I'm watching her HP closely. As the phase 2 starts to end, my fire gem spam starts to slow down again. This isn't about finishing fast, it's about entering the phase 3 correctly. I need zombie on going in. So I swap Automet off. I heal UG up and wait for the Hellbiter to land zombie. Regen is now actively hurting me. I didn't reapply it. Yunalesca did it earlier, but I let it ride. Then I throw on Protect just because I can. Haste is already up, so that's checked as well. Then I throw what I think is the final fire gem for the phase 2, but the damage rolls a bit too low. Yunalesca is left with 17 HP. The counterattack triggers, and then Yunalesca gets a normal turn. Now, this could have been game over if she chose Kira, but she goes for a regen instead. It had just worn off, so now it's back. I check everything. Zombie is on, HP is decent, regen, yeah, whatever. And here's the mistake. I forgot the haste was removed by the counterattack. I was too excited to finally see phase 3. Third form appears. Megadeth. Misses. But this is where haste matters, and without it, Yunalesca is fast enough in every phase to chain turns, and she does it right here. She pulls Kiraga and floors me instantly. We start again from the same point, but this time I make sure haste is active going in. Megadeth misses again, and now under haste I get the turn I need. Zombie gets rinsed off immediately. And now the real third phase begins. As I covered earlier, Yunalesca follows a mostly strict pattern here. This time her second move is Hellbiter, and something rare happens. Hellbiter doesn't land a zombie. This helps me right now, but later in the loop, this exact thing can mean a wipe because zombie is mandatory for Megadeth. Now I stop holding back. Shining gems come out, nearly 6,000 damage. In phase 3, the counterattack is guaranteed after attacking. Haste and Protect are gone. Hellbiter follows. Zombie lands briefly, but Automet clears it. The fourth turn in the pattern is coming. Mind Blast is coming in. Confusion Ward goes on. I need clean turns here. I'm also dropped into an SOS HP, and this is where Yunalesca demands respect. I hold back on damage and heal when I can, because Zombie Chain is coming and healing windows shatter fast. Mind Blast hits about 500 damage. I'll take that every time. Now CTP red, I go for another Shining Gem. Counterattack, and this time an unlucky critical. It even has a slightly different hit animation. Nice touch, game. Now we're at the final move in the pattern, and I always want this one to be Hellbiter. And I need it to stick Zombie as well. If it doesn't, emergency plan is equipping Zombie Touch and attacking myself. And even that isn't guaranteed. Here comes the speed check. Chocobo Feather goes up because after Megadeth I have to manually clear Zombie and gear swap. Speed matters more than damage here. Ghost pops in like, damn, this thing is missing. Now with the speed in my hand, Zombie gets healed off. And Yunalesca does a Hellbiter. Now, again, it's very important to have Zombie status off, because this could have been Kiraga for another one-shot trick. Automate back on, HP at 500. Mega Potion fixes that. Hellbiter again. Welcome to Zombie. But the Automate clears it. Next, Mind Blast, Prep. Confusing Ward on. And then a turn where prep is not needed, so that's a Shining Gem. I was hasted for a couple of turns there, and that really matters. But now the counterattack, buffs are gone. Back to the grind. This is the loop. This is Yunalesca. At first my plan was to play it safe, always topped off, always stable. But the heat of the fight pulls you in. Phase 3 needs luck, and I'm willing to risk it. Next loop starts, regen appears, I welcome the danger. It can help, or it can kill me. We trade blows, Shining Gems, counterattacks, debuffs, Mind Blasts, everything that defines this fight. I'm locked in now. Attack loop after attack loop. Zombie shows up exactly when I need it. Mega deaths are survived. Notes, attempts, instincts, all clicking together. Even weird moments. Regen missing. Yunalesca's hesitating. Her grip is slipping. I push speed again, not holding back. And one last Shining Gem and Yunalesca finally goes down. The victory obtained against Lady Yunalesca. Switch hitter drops. Now I knew going in these basic name weapons can hide massive abilities. And sure enough, on my first win, I land Zombie Strike. It could have been Zombie Proof Armor, but I'm glad it wasn't. Overall, Yunalesca took me about 15 attempts. The third phase alone took me around 5 tries. It's the scariest form, but it's manageable. Zombie for Mecha Death, remove it for Kiragas. That's the entire third phase in 2 sentences. And always, after Lady Yunalesca, don't forget to grab the chest below. Otherwise, 4th phase unlocks. Dark Bahamut. At this point, we're truly nearing the end of the challenge. Only a few bosses left. Everything feels possible now. But before that, next episode, we're taking a short detour. Monster hunting! Let's go!